Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody, to this Friday night edition of the Final Drive, the Red Kingdom Media Big Game Spectacular. I am Clinton, and joining me tonight is our pal Alex McMullen from Outdoor Bros, Changing the Narrative, Ascend Media Collective. Let me know if I have neglected to say anything else you're a part of, but welcome to the show, my friend.
I've got way too many hats on right now. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm super hyped. Can you believe, what is this? Fourth Super Bowl in 5 years?
No, I really can't believe it, especially this season. I'm not saying I was rooting against it. I just never thought that we would stop making enough mistakes to realize getting here. But I mean, I'm as happy as ever that we can continue this. And like Travis, the next one always feels better than the first one.
Oh yeah.
But only if you win. Let's see if it hurts as much as 55. I don't know. I'll have to see about that.
Oh my gosh. There's no way we can play that bad again. Like
yeah, the running backs alone got to do enough to keep that game at 2 scores and above.
Oh, I'm convinced the running backs are gonna be the dominant factor in the Super Bowl. Between CMC and Pacheco, like it's gonna be a hard running game, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely, and both defenses are really good, but that tends to be their one downside of the defensive line is the run defense. So I said the other night it might be both offensive coaches who this season, especially with Andy Reid, who in the past has not done it so much, but they both have leaned into the run, and the Super Bowl will come down to which one of those coaches left off that plan and just started passing it when they really didn't need to, and just started to go downhill from that.
Well, at the same time, I feel like that's almost a double-edged sword where, Andy Reid's biggest flaws, in my opinion, are just letting off the throttle way too early. And granted, we never had a Pacheco up until the last 2 years. We had Kareem Hunt for a little bit, but we all knew Clyde wasn't the guy, even when we were winning Super Bowls. Jerick McKinnon's great as a backup player, a relief player. He's basically our relief pitcher coming in, on running plays. But that's something, it'll be interesting to see if, we're able to use that run-heavy offense successfully, or if it is going to be a situation where Andy Reid is going to have to keep his foot down on the pedal the entire time. Purdy's kind of shown us that his best comes out in the second half of the game, and that's, usually where, unless we start awful, if we start good, that almost scares me more if we get up to a big lead by halftime, because then I just start thinking, dang, how are we going to blow this? Our run defense is not great. CMC is an animal. Like, there's so many factors. And that offense is so scary.
Yeah, for sure. I think the defense has looked great towards the end of the games, and it's been like the beginning of games where if they're going to give up anything, that's when they're kind of just free balling and seeing what happens. But if the Chiefs have a lead going in at any point during this game and have the ball back with that lead, I feel like the defense feels really confident with the game plan going the rest of the way.
Oh yeah.
So with that being said, we'll go ahead and kick off with some Chiefs related questions, because I'm sure the other two guys sitting in this room are dying to talk about Super Bowl all the same. So how long have you been a Chiefs fan, my guy?
Since birth. I got a picture of me at like 8 or 9 months old in this little Chiefs puffy coat onesie thing. It's like a professional picture they had taken at JCPenney's or something. And then there's another picture from like 2 weeks later in December when I'm at my first Chiefs game at like 10 months old or whatever it would be at that time. Snow on the ground out there. So, we've been in the elements year after year. Horrible team after horrible team. We were there for the 2-14 season right before Andy Reid came back. So, since birth.
Mm-hmm. Are you season tickets?
We are, yeah. Yeah. We've had season tickets in our family actually for almost 40 years now, 39 years.
Let's go. I
Um,
just got mine in 2019, the
nice.
lucky year. So I moved here in
Oh yeah,
2018 when Patrick was the starter and we got good. And then 2019, I officially started going to the stadium. So I'm not
that's
taking all the
awesome.
credit, but
Hey, yeah, you're the reason. Thank you for coming. It certainly has nothing to do with the multi-$100 million quarterback we have, or
no, nope, nothing
oh,
like that.
no,
It's all that a middle income individual of Missouri resident added to the economy. It was all me. You're welcome.
hey, it's like that bad luck Chuck guy that left, and then we turned it around in the whichever playoff game against the Texans.
Yeah. Oh, get into superstitions. How many times like I'll get texts from my mom watching the game, and it's like not looking so good, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure every other time you said I'll turn them off, they start playing well and winning. So if you would
Go
just,
ahead and shut it off.
could you just take a sacrifice for yourself to help the greater good, please?
I'm all about superstitions. I got the hoodie. I've got my special game day pants I put on, and
Okay,
without
all right.
fail, we've lost this year. I haven't had them on
That ties in.
every time.
What are your game day routines?
So our game day routines, if we're going, we always show up right when the gates open. Doesn't matter if it's
Mm-hmm.
like 6 in the morning for one of those noon games or whatever. But we either will make white chicken chili or this breakfast casserole. Those are our two meals for the game.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if it's summer, which is probably a bad time for chili, but that's always what we've taken. And we go out there and we just really tailgate for most of the time. We have a whole little setup. We bring our speaker out. And yeah, that's just been our tradition, has been getting out there with all the rest of the tailgaters. Arrowhead has such a great environment to tailgate. It's really, I mean, that's the biggest thing that people don't want the stadium to move downtown for, right? Is the tailgating experience of Arrowhead is, you know,
Yeah.
a bigger deal than the team.
Yeah, they act like there's nothing out there, but it's like that's the point. We are the thing that's out
Exactly.
there.
It's the best venue in my opinion. But yeah, so I mean, those are our game day routines. Usually you just get up early, always one of those two foods. Of course, pack the cooler a little heavy, especially on those cold games.
Yep.
And then other than that, we just have our group picture we take every time right under the big white Chiefs sign on the side of the stadium. We always park up in one of those front rows,
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of a handicap parking tag from one of the parents. But
Let's
yeah,
go. That's very cool. I need to get more into the tailgating. It's literally just my fiance and I solo, and we just kind of sit around until it seems right to go inside. Sometimes we bring food. Sometimes we're uh, friendly enough to get out of the car and just start walking around. And that's the great thing about Arrowhead and the Midwest in general is like people here are just nice and friendly. And if you look nice and you bring up a conversation, they'll be happy to share whatever they got at their tailgate.
oh yeah. And I mean, I think it's the Lot J group that puts on a lot of big tailgating events over there, and they've got the whole setup with the tents and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah, dude. Do you wear a certain jersey or go by feels or what are you wearing for game days?
So I keep whatever the current quarterback is. I don't know. I'm kind of a stickler on jerseys because they're so damn expensive that I'm like, I can't just, I don't want to buy a player that's going to be gone in 2 years. I've seen everyone get the
I
Hill jersey and everything.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. So I'm like, and I also don't want to be that guy that's got like my name on the back of the jersey because I'm like, oh, like,
I'm
okay,
not a
that's just kind
player.
of weird. Yeah. I don't want
Yeah.
people to know my name either, at least not just walking up
Yeah.
behind me. But no, so I've got the current quarterback. I got my old Alex Smith jersey, but now a Mahomes jersey. This very hoodie, I've got my special Chiefs pajama pants that I put on. And then I had a hat that unfortunately got tore up. But that thankfully, come to think of it, we've actually started winning since that. So maybe that's a superstition. So I got to
It's ceremonial.
sacrifice a ceremonial hat at the beginning of each season. Kind of like the Bills sacrificing everyone into the pit, though. They might need to
are,
change that approach.
are you the type to wear a jersey middle of the game, feel nothing's quite right, and switch it off and put on another one?
I've done it before. I did actually funny. I did it oh shoot, which it was last year. What game was it? But I put on an old one of the Salute to Service Jamal Charles jerseys I had, which is my
Mm-hmm.
OG good luck charm. Does not fit hardly anymore at all. It fits like a t-shirt. Um but I threw that on. I can't remember what game it was, but we turned it around as soon as I did. And that's the only time though. Normally at the game I can't really pack an extra jersey with me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
and
You're
I
just like,
trust
I
in
gotta stay
Mahomes.
a certain way. I gotta go for a walk. Something about the
Yeah,
situation got to change a
like a
little bit.
buffalo, you got to kind of just lean into the storm sometimes, find where the wind's coming from.
That's right. All right. Who in your life do you think of the most when it comes to the Chiefs?
Uh, Not Chiefs related, actually. I honestly think a little wholesome thing. It reminds me a lot of my mom and my grandmother. They were the biggest Chiefs fans. That's kind of how our season tickets started. My grandfather bought them back in 1985, and they've moved them a couple times, but we've been in the same spots for like 25 years. My mom actually has the original seats when they redid all the seats. She bought
Ooh.
a couple of them that were our original seats there. So yeah, I mean, it really just it's something my mother and I have been able to bond over the years, and it's just a commonality. She is a bigger football fan than I am. Her
Hmm.
collection of memorabilia puts most people to shame. It's hilarious. But yeah, a little wholesome. It just makes me think of my mom and my grandparents, and all those good memories.
Yeah, that's awesome. Same here. Definitely a lot of family members, memories attached, especially when the team wasn't, you know, that good. So you had to really be dedicated to wear red
Yeah.
all the time. So transition. How did you mean you've been going to games ever since those down years? How did you overcome that other than staying liberated in the parking lot?
A lot of alcohol. No, no. I've always been such a fan of football. I think that even when I'm going to games, like I just love watching football so much that there's times that I'm not even rooting for the Chiefs. I'm just rooting like, oh, holy shit! We're watching Peyton Manning tear us up when he was with the Broncos. It's like you're watching greatness. I'm sure it's a similar feeling to how our parents would have felt watching Joe Montana tear him up, or John Elway tearing the Chiefs up rather when he played for the
Yes.
Broncos. It's a certain level of respect you end up having when your team's just that bad that you can't support them anymore. And I think that's, a lot of Kansas City loves their athletes so much. Kansas City's such an athlete friendly city
Hmm.
that I think there was never, everyone just loves the environment of football in Arrowhead, that it's just, you're going there for the experience. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. Like, yeah, it's heartbreaking. But at a certain point, when you're so bad, I mean, Lions fans can probably relate to us. You're just accepting that, like, okay, well, we'll just see, what we see. Maybe we'll see some good plays. So just finding that love for football is really what kept me going through there. Is I just loved the game so much. It was easy to stay a
Hmm.
fan because I would just, root for another team especially as, a young kid and a teenager, didn't really have any of that true loyalty built up.
Right.
So I would just, enjoy the game. But then when Andy Reid and Alex Smith came in 2013, that was just, God, that was a crazy feeling. And then those games with the world record for sound, both of them, like it was just goosebumps even thinking about it.
Yeah, it's great. Kids nowadays who are just getting in the Chiefs won't know that feeling, but it's amazing how like impactful Patrick has been because he is that Elway Manning type of like when you watch a Chiefs Patrick Mahomes game and then you watch NFC South game, it does not look the same.
Yeah.
And there is just something about this offense and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelsey that just has this extra pizzazz to it that like you can't really predict, I guess.
Oh yeah, and the ability to make a game-changing play, like just an instant season highlight reel play at any moment. I mean, I think back to the famous jet chip wasp in the super, in our first Super Bowl win. Like it just where all hope was lost, like it was for most of those playoff games until it wasn't. And it's like you get to that point where it doesn't matter how far down the score is, you're just kind of waiting. Like, when are they going to hit that switch? Because it's going to happen. It might not, unfortunately, be till next game sometimes in the regular season, but like they always get it back together. Even this year, when we had no receivers that could catch anything other than Rasheed Rice.
Mhm.
MVS comes in clutch during his playoff games with two of the biggest catches of the games. Is
That's right.
there's that ability, I think. And, someone like Mahomes, it's just the same as someone like Tom Brady, someone like Peyton Manning. Those teams had most of the core players when that individual came in, just like the Chiefs had those core players that really, Tyreek Hill was here, Kelsey was here, Kareem Hunt. Wasn't that Mahomes' first year, the year that he got kicked off the team?
No,
Or was
that
it
was
his
the
second year?
Super
That's
Bowl
right.
run.
The Super
That was
Bowl
the
run
Super.
year. That's right. But like, we had all those playmakers and you have all those pieces, and it's like, is a quarterback really that impactful? The answer is
Yes.
yes. They raise everyone up to their level. If they're a potential GOAT down the road, I don't think I don't think Mahomes has done enough yet to maybe be the GOAT. He's well on his way.
Hmm.
Those kinds of players just elevate everyone around them so much. And that's where I think that huge focus on giving your quarterback big money and finding your true, dynasty run quarterback is the goal of all these teams now, as compared to just building up the offense or just building up the defense. They're like, we need somebody at the head of the ship.
Hmm. And it's crazy that this season worked out to where if Mahomes plays games a la Alex Smith 2016, for instance, this defense is getting them to the Super Bowl and then some.
Oh, yeah.
But without Patrick as that piece, you're still, like you said, kind of that earlier Lions hope of maybe, but once we see X quarterback in the playoffs, we start getting a little less confident about it. So,
Oh, yeah.
All right. So if you could bring back a former Chiefs great for this Super Bowl game, who do you want? One game.
One game for, man, there's so many like former great, because obviously there's like, like Derek Thomas would be great to have back. Jamal Charles would be great. I think the best for the storyline of how the season's been going, if we could have brought Frank Clark back for the playoffs, that would have been the best. Obviously, other than that, I've got Hill, Sammy Watkins is somebody that I really think the Chiefs probably should have kept to begin with, so we had some sort of lockdown receiver, and I think he would have taken less pay, where we could have afforded him. Yeah, I'd say Frank Clark would be my pass I'd want to bring back, or prime Jamal Charles. Just no disrespect to Pacheco, but Jamal Charles was too good of a running back to never have gotten a ring out of it.
Yeah, or the tandem of Pacheco and Charles. How
Could
one's
you
going to
imagine?
run just strong, but also fast, and one's going to run fast, but also strong, and both can catch the ball out. Yep. Yep. So good. So, last question for you, Chief centric. Who is your favorite current day Chief, and who's your favorite all time?
Favorite current one? I got to go with Nick Bolton. I'm not a Mizzou fan, but I am from Missouri, so him have gone to Mizzou, kind of got that loyalty. And I just think he reminds me of Dirty Dan Sorensen without the inability to get into pass coverage. But just the open field tackle ability of Nick, I mean, really of Bolton, Gay, Drew Tranquill, all of them is so freaking insane for all of your linebackers to be that good and interchangeable. It's just ridiculous. But Bolton's probably, he's my favorite. I'm a defense guy. I love defense.
Same here. And Chiefs fans have always been that way. Run the ball, scream our heads off in Arrowhead when a big sack happens. But it was like we were waiting for that quarterback component to ensure the Super Bowl runs could happen. And thankfully they have, my friend. So
no doubt.
Great talking to you about the Chiefs. We're going to transition to some Super Bowl related questions. But first, I'm going to ask you all to like and subscribe and follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us 5 stars on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And with that being said, I'm going to bring back Dale and Lonnie to the stage. Welcome, welcome.
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm good. How you doing? How y'all doing, fellas?
And ready for another Super Bowl win.
Right? I mean, hey, they counted us out. They counted us out.
I counted us out.
Hey, right.
There were times I was not a believer this season.
All the Chief and podcasts where my score prediction is on the screen says I didn't, quote, believe in them. But all of that was subconscious. Y'all knew what I was trying to do.
Alex, at times, Clinton really disliked my optimism. I was optimistic a lot.
Definitely.
It was like, bro, how can you do this? And I don't know. I think when we all were accustomed to just losing a lot of those games and having those playoff woes, it's like we're winning now. I'm already grateful for that. So at this point, y'all playing to really cement y'all legacy. I'm just a fan at this point.
Right.
I'm hoping y'all win, but we definitely ready to get into it. So Clinton hit you with all the fandom, but it's time for us to really get into discussing this Super Bowl. And like I talked with everybody else, I started off the conversation. Alex, what is your 5 keys to victory in this Super Bowl matchup against the San Francisco 49ers?
We need to start strong and finish strong. Finish strong being the damn most important part of that. We need to figure out how the heck to stop a run, especially with Christian McCaffrey on the other end of that run. Is that I'm willing those, I was gonna say I'm willing to place a bet that McCaffrey is gonna have a 60+ touchdown run. I'm confident in that 60+ yard touchdown run happening in the Super Bowl. Because I just don't think we have the ability to stop the run that well. I think we're able to catch up to ourselves and do it, but dude, CMC is just going to eat the entire first half, I feel like, in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, start strong, finish strong, contain the run. I think we need to not give up on the pass. I think Andy Reid has been skittish with our receivers, rightfully so, and we've used Pacheco to kind of counter for that. San Francisco's defense is way too good for us to just lean into Isaiah Pacheco the entire game. We cannot guarantee that. We have to get back to having those guaranteed slants of Kelsey and Rice, or Kelsey and really any other receiver cutting through the middle of the field and then being able to catch it on the run and turn and tear up the field. That's something that we really haven't been able to get back to, and I think that's really slowed down the Chiefs' offense this year. Is just no guaranteed receiver. You have Travis Kelsey, who might be the slowest tight end ever, greatest but slowest. He's not going to be a speedster. Rashee Rice, we found out was great, but never really used him at the beginning of the season like we should. So getting it going with the short passing game, I think, is key. Fourth, MVS has to and will come in clutch this game. I am predicting, I said a 60+ yard touchdown run by CMC. I'm betting a 60+ yard catch and touchdown by MVS. I think he's shown that he's confident back in the playoffs. He proved it with those 3 catches in total. But so I think Mahomes is probably going to be targeting him a few times, especially in that first quarter. And if we can make that connection on the deep ball, it's over, and the Chiefs are going all out. And the final thing, man, if we go into the half with a lead, which I think we will, we just have to be a team that's focused on maintaining that lead. And, it kind of piggybacks what I said at the beginning. We have to try to score more points, not just try to run out the clock, punt it, and then hope our defense can stop it. Because they probably will stop it. But with Deebo Samuel, with CMC, with all these playmakers, you cannot hope that your defense is going to stop them no matter how good they are. So, I think we do those 5 things. I'm pretty confident about us. I still personally think, Brock Purdy's very good. I still think he's a game manager. I think he's no different than Alex Smith was when he was surrounded by Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelsey. It's the same thing, just younger.
I honestly feel like you have a solid keys to victory. Now, I'm a hole picker, so I'm about to pick holes at some of these because
hey, let's do it.
I like the CMC. That was something that I was saying he's going to be an anytime touchdown. He's going to score. Even if it's not 60+, I think they offense rely on him. He's going to score. Now, how we've been playing lately. I know we don't have the best rush defense, right? But they do make enough plays at times, right? We got a couple tackles for a loss, kind of set up the drive for us to really close it out, be able to be a little bit more aggressive, send the blitz, and then, be able to get off the field. With CMC, I feel at this time, he did play last year. It was his first game, actually, when he got traded over there. Still scored on us as well, too. But we kind of have seen this trend with other running backs in previous games to where they like to start off with them, but they get scared because it's like you still have Patrick Mahomes in that offense. They can talk about the wide receivers all they want, but they still have a little fear because this could be the game that they go off on us. Do you think at any time that they will go away from CMC in that run game and really be like Brock Purdy? You got to go out here and compete with Patrick Mahomes and go ahead and just try to get it to Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Keep in mind, the other teams we played as well, we can list them: Miami, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Wilson as well, too, in the receiving game. Also, Raheem Mostert, who we beat in that first Super Bowl, who was with the 49ers, was a great running back that year as well, too. And then next game, you got Stephon Diggs. No Gabe Davis, but you had James Cook, Dalton Kincaid. Allen had a good game, but they didn't do enough. Defensively, we were great. Baltimore, best offense in the league. They were number one for a reason. 10 points, 1 touchdown. So thinking about that, and I just put all that out there. How you feel with me, providing that, taking that in?
So I think the Ravens did exactly what you just said the 49ers need to not do in order to win in this game. They got scared. The pressure of the moment, the pressure of it being the Chiefs, it doesn't matter how bad we're playing. The Kansas City Chiefs are still the Kansas City Chiefs. Like you said, it's going to be in the Niners' heads that entire game. Oh, shit, MVS is just waiting for that deep ball. Kelsey's just waiting to somehow catch it in the middle of the field and run 40 yards for a touchdown. Rashee Rice is crazy and going to bust out on this slant. So they have all those things. I think it scares me more if they can keep the ball out of Brock Purdy's hands and stick with that run to just keep hammering the defense, hammer. But at the same time, Clinton and I were talking about this a little bit before you guys hopped on, that we have just such a crazy impressive linebacker unit that no matter how bad our run defense is, because that is something, the run defense grade, I believe, is based off of the defensive line more so than your linebackers coming in to supplement that or your free safety if they're blitzing. That's something that we've gotten shockingly good at. I mean, Snead is just as good as Tyrann Mathieu was at coming in and hiding that blitz until the last second, and boom, now there's a safety hitting the quarterback immediately. Now there's a safety running there to push that run inside where Chris Jones is waiting and Drew Tranquill and Nick Bolton are right behind him. But with that, that's where, just like the Chiefs used to do, they have that Tyreek Hill type weapon in Deebo Samuel that can just skirt out right along the edge. If we start biting on that run too hard, which we probably will just because we haven't been great at the run, they're going to have to put a little bit more into it. So, I mean, if they can stop it without sending half the defense after the running back or the quarterback potentially, because then, I mean, at that point, it's just going to turn into play action. They're going to feed it to Deebo while there's one defender for him to beat, and he's going to torch us. So, yeah, I mean, that's where it comes back to. Just real quick, I think Brock Purdy, all the stigma behind him, there's so much pressure right now to show that he's not a game manager that I think they're going to probably fold under that pressure.
Right.
And, yeah.
Right. I got you on that. And when you was talking about getting to Deebo Samuel, we got to keep in mind Deebo is hurt as well too. And we talked about that in previous shows as well. We was going over there. It's like, all right, maybe Spags want to press you a little bit to where we want you to take a chance, because not only that we play the most man coverage in the league, our cornerbacks is good too. We're primarily, you're going to be rocking with L'Jarius Sneed. But then you see a guy like Joshua Williams who had trouble last year. You see what he did against Odell. Now we can call some of that pass interference, holding, everything like that. But that's something that our DBs do. They said it out loud, like, yeah, I will hold you. And you're going to get that 5 yards, and you're going to have to beat me again. And I doubt you're going to beat me again because I just saw what you just did. So I'm going to challenge you on that. And then we also got our nickel backs, our other corners as well, too, where you throw it out quick, they're very fast. They don't think about it anymore. They react. You're going there. And I'm going to meet you right there as well, too. Tyreek Hill, happened to you twice. One was a fumble for a touchdown. The other, it was just, we was already beating up on you, and that was just like the icing on the cake. So I like that. I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to Brock Purdy, and that's why they keep on saying that, like, you're going to have to make that throw at the end of the game. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't make that throw at the end of the game. Will you be able to do it?
And I was going to say, because Spags is also going to zero sometime in this game. We zero every quarterback that we play. So, yes, it's definitely going to come down to somebody making a play. We're going to see everything. I don't think Spags is going to close the book on anything that he shows this new quarterback. So he's going to zero him. He's zero Lamar Jackson at the end of the game. And Trey McDuffie ended up making a play down in the red zone. They thought was holding. So he's going to challenge you. He has all pros on that side of the ball for a reason. That's what Spags does. He's going to send extra people. It's about getting home when you get a chance to blitz, and then covering and making tackles on the back end. That's what it's going to be. It's just going to be big on tackling for DBs.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Clayton, anything you want to add on to that?
No, I'm just enjoying listening to you guys. Keep going.
All right, man, Alex, we got some more, so
Oh yeah.
don't worry about that at all. So, all right, we already talked about the keys to victory into this Super Bowl matchup. Now, who are your stars on both sides of the ball that you absolutely think needs to go ahead and go out and really command the game and really be the reason why the teams win? So let's start with the offense. Who you got?
On offense, we're gonna need Pacheco and Rice to step up as I think they have. I think Rashee Rice is our number one receiver. There's no doubt about it. We found him. Thank God we found him. But we still need him to step up in this, like it or not. He's a rookie. This is the freaking Super Bowl. There's just so much that can happen. But, you know, if
All right.
Pacheco can establish the ground game and Rice can at least be that safety net on third and medium to long and, you know, getting those guaranteed first downs for 10, 15 yards, as long as we can do that, they're the ones that really need to show up from the get-go. Everyone else is going to be good. I mean, our offensive line's probably going to get freaking 5 holding penalties before the end of the first drive, but that's is what it is.
Oh man, I hope not. You know,
Yeah, I'm
and
hoping
Nick
not.
Bosa, yeah, and
He
Nick
has what
Bosa,
he wants.
yeah. But Nick Bosa been talking a lot as well too. He kind of been saying too much, and I think that's gonna be an issue because when something that the Chiefs do well, and they learned it after the Bengals game last year in the regular season. We're not doing no more bulletin board material. We're going to give the best response, give the professional response, show your counterparts some respect because they are in the league like you as well. And you know, I think it's gonna come back to bite them in the ass, like honestly. And one thing we did in that last game as well too is Bosa, we ran at you, not in the Super Bowl, literally in that regular season game.
He was
We got
unblocked.
44 unblocked a lot, 44 points. It's just going to set it up. So you're probably going to see a lot of RPO. Well, we know that Mahomes not going to take off with it, but it's just like we're going to read off of you. Whatever you do is going to set up what we're trying to do, either on the outside, getting on a quick slant, or depending on if you overcommit, we'll probably just hand it off or get outside of you, and then we make a play down the field as well too. So I feel that. Uh, he's going to do his best. I mean, honestly, he could have had a couple of holding calls in the last Super Bowl. I mean, it happens to him in every game. You're like one of the best defensive ends in the league, but you can also be a liability as well too, and that's something that the Chiefs like to do. Like especially with your best edge rusher, they like to attack you because we know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get to the quarterback. So I'm watching you the whole time. I'm reading off you. So if the defense is going based off of that as well, and they don't have a lot of support on that side as well too, we're going to make a play over to that direction because that's going to be open field. We can get yards down the field, maybe a big play as well. So bulletin board material, they gave it to us. I think we're doing fine right now.
So can I just say,
Mhm.
why does it already seem like the 49ers are doing nothing but coming up with excuses for this game?
Literally,
The tackles are going to
every day.
hold. Oh, we have an alarm wake us up early in the morning. We're playing in a practice facility and the grass sucks. Man,
6:03 in the morning.
I really hate being here. Like, why does it already seem like they're making excuses like in just yeah, we lost. I mean, the odds were stacked against us. NFL scripted, you know, like blah 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 blah. Chiefs get favored, refs holds, all like they were already trying to make that storyline so that they could like manifest the other way.
And would you
And I
say
think-
that
I
if
think-
he was playing the Ravens?
And I think
Go
they were
on.
just trying to spotlight it. But I was just gonna say I think Andy Reid is prepared for that. I think he'll have his boys, his tackles prepared for the situation. He's spotlighting it just like anybody else. If we were going up against some of the worst tackles in the league, I would want Chris Jones to say they hold a lot too. You want to bring a spotlight to anything that you can possibly get an advantage on, and that's what I think he did. And I think in the same breath, I think Andy Reid will have his guys ready. And no, you got to have your hands inside. They're going to be watching you all game. Make sure you're lined up right. I think he just has his guys prepared as well. You have them prepared, ready to go. You don't want that type of stuff happening. No penalties. You want to play a clean game, and they have in these past couple of playoff games. So I don't think that'll change anything. I think it'll just make him even more aware of the situation. But I guess we'll see on Sunday how Jawan Taylor comes out and how Donovan Smith come out. But I don't see those guys having those type of problems.
All right. Now, Alex, let's go ahead and shift over to the defense. Who you want? Who you think needs to be that guy?
Snead McDuffie. They need to show
Oh.
up. They got Debo Samuel. They're gonna show up. I'm perfectly confident in that. Just like I'm confident in Pacheco and Rice. But they need to show up from the get-go. They need to play physical football. They know that they're gonna come at us. They know that they're gonna, there's going to be, like you said, Lonnie, there's going to be so many times where they're going to have to be able to make those open field tackles and those tackles from behind, which they're great at, but they are the most important keys when they have weapons like Samuel and Ayuk and
Ayuk.
Even
Ayuk.
Ayuk. Thank you.
Yep.
And even CMC coming out of the backfield is a great, screen option. He's shown that many times. So I think they're going to be the keys to our defense.
Okay.
Other than that, our defense has been, our defensive line's stacked. I have no doubt in their ability.
Yeah. And, I honestly need Chris Jones now. I need him to be MVP. We're talking about like your big game parlay and stuff later, but I'm just go ahead and put it out there right now. $25. It's getting me 3,000 for this. I need 3 sacks, a forced fumble. I don't know what else he needs to do after that.
He probably just needs 3 sacks and a forced fumble.
He needs that.
I don't see Mahomes needing too much more, and I think they may have to be situational. But I don't see him needing too much more to be like
Dale.
Okay,
let's see if I can manifest this into the air for you.
Okay.
Chris Jones is going to get a pick 6 in the red zone in the 49ers territory, and he's not going to have to go anywhere. He just little baby gallop in the end zone. There's your points.
You know what would have been funny if I would have did that. If I would have did that for like an anytime touchdown for him, he was on the anytime touchdown as well as like, the first touchdown of the game. Like he was, like, you hit on that. You was getting
Andy Reid to get that info. You're like, oh, is Chris coming in on like a jumbo package? Is he?
They need to put him in like what we used to do with Dontari Poe. That's what they need to do. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Would that surprise you against Brock Purdy, an undersized guy?
Man, yeah.
I'm just being realistic. And they lead the league in batted balls now. Minus Charles Omenihu, but like that is very common with the Kansas City Chiefs to bat a ball up in the air. Like we've seen it in numerous games in the playoffs. So like, and Chris Jones is a mammoth of a man, and that is very possible. I can see.
They came close a couple times, but you seen what happened in the AFC Championship game when we got a batted ball from Justin Reed. Lamar Jackson caught it and went 30 yards. Nothing. When it's stuff like that, I just like, that's asking for too much.
Oh my God.
This is kind of more reasonable. Lonnie, you know me, I gotta talk about it in the game. Within the game, I gotta call some bull, and hopefully it goes. But that's what we would hope. But I honestly do. Aaron Donald, I think we can all somewhat agree in some way, probably was robbed in that Super Bowl with the Bengals and the Rams. Honestly, wasn't really an offensive, really performance from both sides of the ball until OBJ went out, and he possibly could have got it if he kept playing because he was on a roll for like 100+ yards. But it's just, I think we're due for defensive MVP at this point. Offense this year, if anything, has really looked worse across the board. Just because it seems like a lot of the defensive players got better, so it's like it's out there. But I wish I would have saw Snead on there. I didn't see him on there for the. Now they had McDuffie on there for the MVP. He was like, he would have been some good money as well too. Now I'm new to it like y'all as well. The odds is a little weird. I had to ask questions. So if I put this on here, what I get? And it's like, yeah, this is kind of the best bet, more realistic. So I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, but they was in the point where if you put some on there, you was on hit. That's for another. We can talk about that later. What you got going on? Actually, it was coming up. What you got for that? What you think? If you were a betting man, where would you go?
Well, I think the first touchdown of the game is probably going to be Travis Kelce. I'd put money on that. Yeah, I think it's going to be Kelce, first touchdown of the game.
All right.
Man, other than that, the really only thing I've been even considering, and placed a few bets on the side on was the point spread at the end. I got my prediction for the final score is 42-17. I think it's going. Oh yeah, that's if they go with the smart game plan, of scoring points. No, of like they come out there, demoralize them in the first half, and then the last half of football is just the offense doing whatever the hell they want, and the defense completely shutting them down.
So you're saying Super Bowl 55, but the Chiefs are Tampa Bay this time.
Yes, exactly. This is our redemption game from that. Now, with that, who knows? If you're superstitious,
who had that thought. See,
I know.
I'm not the one who thought that was kind of in the air.
I've been thinking it too, but I just don't want to say it like Alex. I don't want to put that final take out there until like everything wraps up. But I mean, it definitely has that feeling. Like we've seen people that have not seen the Chiefs all year. If you haven't seen them all year, usually just do not do good with them. I'm sorry, it's gonna be hard. You gotta, if you've seen us multiple times though, Broncos, Raiders, and even sometimes the Chargers, you can get us. But if you haven't seen us, it's gonna be hard, I think.
No doubt.
I ate my crow on that as well too already because I said that for like the Denver Broncos game, and that's the game we lost. So
but that's like the Broncos and those divisional rivals. Like no matter how good we are and bad they are, Lonnie, you're exactly right. Like they see us so often, they always have our number. Those are always such fun games to watch and such close games. I mean, sometimes they're not, but more often than not, those games are within 3 points. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. And usually see when we playing our division opponents, I like to see it. If you even watch the highlights, they don't even bite on like fly motions and stuff. Like certain stuff, they won't even bite on. And the Andy Reid, like they automatically know when we're trying to throw like shovel passes. Like you can just tell you when you're playing your division opponent and playing someone that doesn't play you a lot. Because they're biting on the Miko Hardman fly motion or Tony fly motion. Now he's throwing it over the middle to Travis. Like if you're a division opponent, we're not even biting on that. We're probably bumping Travis Kelce. Who cares who goes into the flat? We know he's trying to go to Kelce. Like, and it's hard for people to do that if you haven't seen it all year. So I don't know. I don't want to say what your take 44-17, but I love the
42-17.
42-17
right now.
I'm scared.
Do you like blowout games or do you like them being close? Because honestly, and Lonnie be mad at me during the game because he be like, "You're not scared at all." I'll be like, "Nah, I kind of like this. I like my blood kind of pumping and flowing." Like, it was cool when Patrick Mahomes first came in the league to kind of like solidify himself as this great quarterback and someone who was going to be considered a Hall of Famer one day, even one of the best in the game. It was fine just to like kind of stamp itself. Now it's like you can see, and I'm, and not trying to like toot his horn a little bit, but you can kind of tell he's bored sometimes as well too. It's like, I want a little bit more excitement. I want something to play for. That's why they kind of be creating like little stuff in their head as well too, to keep them pushing. Because what you did in so little time, like if you win the Super Bowl, people was ready to like stamp him GOAT just because you're this your 7th season starting. You got 8 years in you, but it's your 7th season starting, and you did all of this. You 3 Super Bowls. You have 2 league MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I'm not giving you the 3rd Super Bowl MVP because I need that for somebody else. Don't worry about that. Just get the win. He'll be fine. Like it's like nobody can really disrespect him like that anymore. It's just gonna be all right. Who chasing Mahomes, and we want somebody to go ahead and go beat him. So like, do you like the blowouts or keeping it close just for your own entertainment?
Well, I think it definitely depends on the game. Like, obviously, the Chiefs fan of me wants us to like put up all those 42 points in the first quarter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same
every game.
Yeah, exactly. But like at the same time, the best games I've ever been, the greatest game I've ever been to at Arrowhead, other than maybe the Monday night one in 2014 when we beat the Noise record and beat Brady, the Texans in that divisional playoff game where we came, like, I cannot even explain how sad the stadium was. We're all there. We're down 24-0. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, just like, this we got so used to Mahomes dominating that it just felt so out of character, but then they flipped the switch and it turned into a blowout. But I think the football fan in me loves close games, those super competitive games. Like my second favorite game was that Rams-Chiefs game back in, what was that, 2018 or 2019, when the 54-52 final score, we lost. And that was one of the best Chiefs games I've ever seen.
Best in history.
Dude, that was insane. Like
Mhm.
you were literally like, you could tell you were watching a historic game as it was happening. I was so happy at the end of it, even though we lost. It's like, wow.
If I
It felt
remember
like a Super
correctly,
Bowl. It
Mahomes
felt
had
like
Yeah.
a legit
6
Super Bowl.
interceptions that game too. So talk about a strange one.
Dude, it
Two
was
defensive
insane.
scores.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. They were like back to back. Both of they. Alan Bailey got one, and then that was just crazy.
Hey, it
Moms
was
to
crazy.
Tyreek Hill. Like, oh my
Crazy.
god, it was ridiculous. Like,
Bro.
and it was in the Coliseum. It was like, wow,
Yeah.
this should
And
be
me-
the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, me and we was at UCM at the time. I was at his house, bro. We was watching the game. Bro, we saw the concert. We was like, is this like the Super Bowl that we watching right now? Like, this is like week 12 or something like that. We was like, what's going on? We lost the game. Our girls came in there like, they saw our face. They started laughing, stuff like that. I was about to fight when I get home, but I was like, boy, that game was out. It was amazing. We need to have one of those, but us on the winning end this time.
Yeah.
You can
So-
say the Bills game, but
Talk
That was
about
a-
like opposite sides. 2019 and 2020, all of our postseason games, we started with a deficit and having to overcome it. And knock on wood, so
Right.
far, the Chiefs had not been down in any of the games they played in. At the very least, they've been tied.
right? Yep.
So they have not trailed at any point during the whole playoff run.
Yeah, which leads me to my question. I wanted to just ask everybody right now: why, as Chiefs fans, do I feel like we're scared to award or anoint a defensive MVP? Like, I feel like we're adamant and we're scared of a defensive game. Like we don't want to see that in the Super Bowl, or like we want to see Mahomes score 30 or 40 or 20 something points. I mean, that's just not been the case even in this postseason. So like, I just feel like as a fan base, just overall, we're kind of scared to anoint our defense, and like I feel like they've earned it, and I feel like this is the game they got to really just go out and really just prove it to us. Like, go snatch it and shove it in our face to where we got to stop talking about this guy Mahomes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, make it to where it's no doubt we got to go sign L'Jarius Sneed and the rest of the secondary and go sign all our defensive linemen. Like, make that the narrative here in Kansas City. Make it hard. So like, I don't know. I'm just asking, like, in general, like, why do I feel like as a fan base we're scared to do that? Like,
Maybe you kind of answer your own question, because without Patrick Mahomes, that's how we're hoping every game is won. And we're confident in that working up until we play against a quarterback that is as good as the current quarterback we'd have, and then it's like better luck next year. Oh no, we caught Tom Brady caught us, right? Now we have that guy, and there's something strange about having that guy and almost neutering him to a degree, making him Alex Smith levels and being like, that's enough to get to and possibly win this year's Super Bowl. That would have been unfathomable in 2016 or any other year like of that matter.
Well, that almost
it's-
happened if D Ford wouldn't have lined up offside. Like,
But I mean, that's Patrick Mahomes.
this exact
though.
scenario.
And
Was that-
years before that? Yes, years before
was
that, our
Patrick
only
Mahomes,
playoff
yeah.
win was a wild card game against Houston, and that was our first playoff win in over 20 years. And then up until then, we didn't win another one until Patrick Mahomes took over in 2018. He beats
Was
Andrew
the final
Luck.
Alex? Oops, sorry.
No, you're good. He beats Andrew Luck in his first year. And then it didn't play Lamar Jackson the second year. We all forget that. Technically, the first Super Bowl run should have been Mahomes going to Baltimore and beating Lamar Jackson there to then play the 49ers. But unfortunately, Baltimore couldn't get the job done, and they made Tennessee come play us. So,
Arrowhead Invitational.
But in turn,
Alex, you go because I can go after. Yep.
oh no, I was just saying, in turn to that, we had the greatest playoff run of any team to ever happen of that 2019-2020 year. Oh shoot, I forgot. I need to redeem myself after that Alex Smith gaffe. There was the one he lost when we lost to Tom Brady in overtime. Was that the final Alex Smith playoff game?
no,
that was Tennessee Titans. Tennessee
Yep,
Titans, Mariota to himself was Alex Smith last game.
Yeah, that
that was
freaking
2017.
goal line tip to himself. I forgot.
The year
about
before that was 2016 when the Steelers caused Eric Fisher to hold, so we lost by 2 points in
It
that
was
game.
the game with no touchdowns.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh
If
my
I'm right,
God.
yeah.
And maybe that's why, right? But I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
guys
we've had
answer,
that
but maybe-
conversation,
So that
man.
kinda
If
answers
we
the
don't score a
question.
touchdown, can we even win the game? We had that conversation all season.
Yeah.
Now it's to the point, no, this team cannot afford to not score a touchdown. They need to get a couple touchdowns. And thankfully, they've seemed to waken up a little bit since their Christmas hiccups, so to speak, where they know how to put points on the board. And like Alex said, they're trying to score a little bit now. They will lean into their defense, but only after they feel like they're confident enough on offense to either know they can get the lead at the end of the game when it matters or have the lead and hold on to it currently.
Well, that's where I think there's a stigma about the defense of Kansas City that we kind of need to get over. I might offend some Kansas City people here, but I think the defense we have now is the greatest defense we've ever had. It beats the Derek Thomas-led defense out of the water. Even when we were pretty darn good a few years ago with like Tom Ali, Derek Johnson, and all them, this defense is still night and day different from that. I mean, the lines are the same, but the secondary and the ability of the secondary is just unmatched since like other than primetime Charvarius Ward, who was still wishy-washy unless it was the playoffs. But there's this stigma that, like, we still haven't gotten back to that defense because the defense has been so bad that I think, I agree with you. The defense needs their accolades. It should be a defensive MVP winner this year. I just think we're so scared as Chiefs fans to crown anybody else to that, like, Derek Thomas level defense because of obviously what happened with Derek Thomas, too, passing away. So I think that's what like scares Chiefs fans is there's just this like almost stigma of, oh, we've only had a few historic defenses, we can never have them again, and then Mahomes just comes in as our saving grace basically. I mean, I guess Alex Smith came in more as that, but that's when that really started and everybody was like, okay, we're offense, we got Andy Reid, we're offense, we don't care about defense anymore.
And they got to look back. It was a stat that came up before I like give my reason as well too. It compared the Denver Broncos defense that was elite that year, where they they went off, dominated Cam Newton. Now I think they only gave up about like 350 total points. This defense gave up less than that, 340 something. So I mean, if you want to have a conversation, honestly, Alex, you're correct. This is the best defense that we have saw. And
to piggyback off that, the defensive stat that kept being thrown around between like Baltimore's elite defense this year and the Chiefs is that Baltimore and the 49ers, they were causing turnovers. They were getting defensive scores. Like they were getting stuff in their favor, whereas the Chiefs were getting these stops the hard way.
We was going down, you trying to go on 4th for sure, whatever like that. In previous years, we'd probably give it up sometimes, but it was like they were really honing in on it and really very aggressive and was able to capitalize and turnover on downs. And they don't award that as a turnover. It's just they just call it a turnover on down. So really, it's more of like we're very fundamental. We're going to go out there. We get PBUs. We might not get a lot of interceptions, but we do have opportunities, and we capitalize on those opportunities as well. Going back to Charles Omenihu before his injury, forced fumble. I said I needed that. He got it for us. Recovered. Had a chance to score. Probably could have put some points up. Probably could have got the field goal. But I think Andy Reid was at the point where it's like, nah, let's show him we're trying to step on your neck, and it's not going to be like that for you. But to go into it, Lonnie, long story short, this is a Super Bowl. The entire world is watching. We got the biggest halftime show. All this is going on. It's marketed like that. It's like we want a high scoring affair. But what we saw in the game, in the AFC Championship game against the Ravens, it was still entertaining being that low scoring. You saw the greatness in both Lamar and Patrick. But that defense was like, bend don't break. No, we're not doing that. You're not getting that off on us. You're not going to convert like that on both sides. No, it's going to be won by us this time. Sorry. But they still made it fun. We were still on the edge of our seats. We were still probably like, hey, is this could possibly go into overtime? But nah, they locked in. So I think that's why the Kansas City Chiefs now, this year, it's like we saw them. They were getting down early, and we were used to fighting back. They was like, it's not working this year. Y'all dropping the ball too much. Let's go ahead and get up early, and y'all try to catch us. And it's been working so far. So, hey, it's been fun. Hopefully, it's the same story. Hopefully we get your 42, Alex. But I did take the under on the 47, so we can get 42 and they get 0. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm not predicting that though. My prediction is still going to stay low
Man.
scoring.
Could you imagine 42? I mean, I guess it's not much worse than our piss poor
We'll be
performance
hated.
against the Buccaneers. And we do have Mike Edwards, who was part of that Buccaneers squad and did shut down Tyreek
I
Hill
mean,
most of the
Alex,
game. So
I could be staying corrected. I don't remember the exact score, but I'm pretty sure your score prediction is about the same as the 85 Bears score, and that they put up a 42 burger as well, and that's a defensive-minded team too.
Mm.
So if that's the case, we're looking at a historic defense, and yes, then this team will have to be set as a historic defense.
there's going to
But
be
one-
some weird stuff. I'm so superstitious, and like we look back to what the last Chiefs Niners Super Bowl caused and kind of caveated right into COVID. I'm like, what's coming around this corner?
And I
And
pointed
hopefully
it out,
the Niners don't have to win to close that circle.
and I pointed it out, and I got to call it the late 60s Chiefs defense. That's a dynasty, my friend. The Chiefs had a dominant defense at the end of the 60s to get that Super Bowl IV victory. So that could be another callback to past Chiefs greats. Len Dawson is a great quarterback, but he might have been almost game managery, that type of game as well, because he knew what his defense had.
See, but I'm just saying that since our generation, since now, we haven't seen the defense go on this type of run. So I just feel like to kind of not annoying them still, it's still kind of just slighting them. But I just want them to stay hungry. I wish they could see it, like stay hungry, because we still just kind of don't believe yet. We know you, we know you're there, but we just like show us. Come make Mahomes come up there and have to give up the trophy. Like, call the defensive guys up here.
I don't want it. Give it to Chris Jones.
Hold them to
please.
0.
Yeah.
Hold them to
for real, hold
0.
them to 0.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But if they score 42, they're gonna give it to an offensive player just because they don't even care.
Unless like 3 of those scores are defensive scores, yeah, you're 100%.
Yeah, okay. Now that's a different story.
Chris Jones is going to get this pick 6 and at least 3 sacks.
I mean, how much credit can you give the offense if we keep allowing 4th and 10 and we get the ball at the 49ers 25-yard line over and over again? How much did the offense do in that regard?
Yeah, if they're scoring like that, and then Mahomes has like 130 yards of offense.
Because Dre last night was saying that maybe Travis would be MVP, and my thought is, man, if a receiver is, there's no way a receiver of Mahomes is going to get it if Mahomes can put up good enough stats and all that he wouldn't just win it outright himself.
He got to a 182.
Just out of curiosity, how good are the 49ers?
2 or 3 interceptions.
How good are the 49ers at covering tight ends?
I heard really so they have a weak run defense, right? And I think they got like
I'll say Baltimore and Kyle Hamilton have a lot better
they were the
chance
best
at doing that against us than 49ers. And I'd say if anything, it's Niners linebackers that we'd have to worry about. So let's hope that Travis had these last 2 weeks off his feet. So he's going to be getting hit a lot at the line of scrimmage by Fred Warner or any of the safeties coming down, or Greenlaw, the other linebacker. So,
and luckily they don't have Kafanga as well too. I was actually fond of him. I've been watching him. He kind of remind me of a Troy Polamalu. Maybe it's the hair, but he's a hitter, and he gets some like crazy interceptions as well too. But he's out. He's been injured for the last couple of months, so he's not playing. So that's where we can kind of take advantage of, like, if we get down to that 3rd level and they're coming across the middle, you don't have to worry about that much of a big hit. Hold on to the ball, you'll be fine. So it'll be fine. But we don't got that many we don't got comments at all, Alex. So I mean, it's Friday night. I think it's like the weekend of the Super Bowl now. People are kicking it. I wish I was back home and I'm gonna lit. So I guess I got one more question just to extend this and just have a good time, because we all at home just geeking out about the Chiefs. That's all it is. Family people as well too. That's what it is. That's what we do. I gotta bring it up because it's been a lot of talk about this now. Mahomes win this Super Bowl. Is he over Montana?
Over Montana, yes. Over Brady, I mean, he's on that level of Brady, I think, if he wins. But Tom Brady, I mean, like I said at the beginning, we can argue about the legalities of all his victories. And, man, that cheating really puts a blemish on your record, whether or not it's historic. But Tom Brady, like it or not, went from almost Mr. Irrelevant to the most relevant quarterback ever. And Mahomes is going to have to keep just adding on to that legacy. We can't have that conversation for at least 3 more years, or I guess 2 more technically. Once he's in 10 years, once he's in double-digit seasons, then I think if he's still playing at this level, he's the best to ever do it.
Okay, I'll piggyback off that because we've seen questions in the groups that we're always in. You just made me blank my mind. Hold up, somebody else take over.
All right. Yeah, but going off that, just tell me when you're ready. All right. So, yeah, because with Brady, I think it's going to be hard. A lot of people don't want to take it away from him because it was definitely earned. Like, he went out there. He was irrelevant as well, too. 6th round pick, all that good stuff. Yeah, so I feel that.
So, a lot of people are debating if the Chiefs have to win this Super Bowl to be claimed a dynasty. And I've been on the train. They already are because they've already made it to this many Super Bowls in this time frame. What say you?
They need to make next year. If they don't win this year, they have to make it again within the next couple years to stay on that dynasty run, or else they're just going to turn into like kind of a version of the Giants when it comes to dynasties, in my opinion. Or even, I mean, there's argument to be made about how like the Patriots had huge lapses between their Super Bowl runs, but at the same time, like nowadays, the same few teams are so competitive, you can't afford really to have those lapses like you could in the early 2000s, or else there's the Ravens are ready to make a dynasty run. The Niners are ready to make a dynasty run. You have so many historic teams right now. It's great to be a football fan, but if they win this, yes, this is the dynasty. If they lose this, they still made it to the Super Bowl. So as long as they make it at least to the AFC Championship game next year, I think it's safe to call this the Mahomes dynasty.
And Clinton, like, that is a great question. And a lot of people are really saying that right now. Like, they're going to go ahead and give him the dynasty. But y'all need to just go out there and take it. Because like you just said already, we have a lot of competitive teams out here, and they ready to kind of like go on their little runs. That's why the Chiefs need to go ahead and be like, we already submitted with 3. We're going to be back there eventually anyway. We're going to always be your bad guy. We're going to always have to be the team that you have to overcome. So let's just go ahead and submit that and put it in the history books. That way it's not talked about, because that 10-year lapse for the Patriots happened after their 3rd Super Bowl. Right now, you're on a trajectory to where you're hitting the Super Bowls at the same pace as them, like when in their early part of their dynasty. So go ahead and get it. If it happens, we know what we're going to have to do, because we got a lot of contracts that we have to really get handled. We're going to lose a couple guys. We're going to have to rebuild from that. So at this point, go ahead and just do it, because you wasn't supposed to be here now. You might as well at this point just say F the NFL. They didn't get the okay, chill. YouTube, you know what they be on. F the NFL and just go ahead and just, just snatch it from them. Just be like, no, we here, we doing that. Now, I think regardless, because we fans, it's like, bro, we a dynasty, bro. Like, a lot of people ain't did this. 4 and 5 seasons, right? 4 and 5 seasons, but we went out 3 out of 4 that we actually attended. So that's grounds for a dynasty. A lot of people want
Chiefs, yeah.
Like,
I was gonna ask out of curiosity, what is the Warriors? How did the Warriors win it? We classify the Warriors as a dynasty, right?
Oh yeah, hold on, let me get you together. You're talking
what were they?
You're talking. First of all, you got me and Clinton, who are Warriors fans, by the way. So this is what happened. We had them years where I was getting knocked out by the Spurs. Then them old guys retired, Tim Duncan, all them. Great, because we was that we met them that year. They complained about that because Kyrie went out. We beat them. They came back, beat us that year, and then we went on that run. So we won 2 with Durant, which gave Draymond, Curry, Clay 3, and then we lost to the Raptors. And then Clay was out for the season. Curry was dealing with them injuries, so we sucked for that time, right? Came back as what, kind of like the 6th seed or something like that, for one of them 2, 6th seed, and then we went on that run, beat everybody, and then that's how we got number 4. So honestly, they got 4 almost in like at the max 10 seasons. at the max.
Well, and they kind of went
So-
the same way as the Chiefs did with Alex Smith and
Yeah.
Andy Reid kicking off. Like, because I think the dynasty really started in 2013. The Chiefs haven't had a losing season since then. They've had a 1-8-8 season, I believe, but like that set the footprint. It's actually I've never even thought about how well that kind of goes with exactly the same way the Warriors kicked in to their dynasty.
Alex,
it literally happened the same way.
You're so close. Andy Reid in 2014 had 9-7. Still have yet to see what a 500 or a losing record is with Andy Reid. And Patrick Mahomes will never know what that's like. 11-6 is a down year, a bad record for the Chiefs this season. 11-6.
And that's I seen Edelman talking about it earlier. What is the argument between Bill Belichick and Andy Reid? Like, what are we talking about? Like, Andy Reid works with much less. If Andy Reid had the team that Belichick had, he probably goes 10-7. Like,
yeah,
and Belichick is not even above 500. So like, offense sales. Offense is gonna continue to keep your job. That is what will continue to keep you winning. And why do we even sit here and have that argument now that Andy Reid is in the breath of having Super Bowls now? What are we talking about? Like,
I mean, that explains it though, Lonnie. This is an offensive league, and it has been ever since the 90s. So the defense, as great as defenses are, they will always not be as good as the best offense. We've seen it, the Chiefs defense this season. They look great, and there's still a really good catch in the right spot to a good receiver, still caught for a touchdown. Some things you can't stop with offense.
They did hold the best offense in the league to 10 points, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Chiefs
in Green Bay too.
At the same time, the Chiefs just came and embarrassed technically the best defense in the league by scoring and putting 17 points up on them, more than they probably given up, I think, all year.
Yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen. I think it's something gotta give. We're putting that energy in there right now. Defense MVP. Just let it go.
Yeah, that's what I think. I want to put it out there. I want to put the energy out there. Make this hard for Brett Veach. And that's what my last question is going to be to close it, Alex. I'm going to ask the question that everybody wants to ask. I know on this panel, you got to keep one. You can only keep one. L'Jarius Sneed or Chris Jones?
Sneed. It's got to be Sneed. We've got Omenihu. We've got Brett Veach. You're not going to find a coverage guy that can do what he could do often. And we've seen that. We've had that revolving door of cornerbacks and safeties for like basically all of Mahomes' career. And granted, they've been good. Like Tyrann Mathieu was good, but a lot of Tyrann Mathieu's bad plays got blamed on Dan Sorensen when in reality it was Mathieu blowing the hell out of coverage. I mean, so yeah, it's got to be Sneed. It's got to be. He's right. Yeah, it's got to be Sneed. Chris Jones is great. I love Chris Jones. I'm sorry for the Chris Jones blasphemy after your, wager you placed earlier. I still think he's going to get a pick six, hopefully a fumble six, 3 sacks.
I think that, unfortunately, I think there's almost a little bit of Chris Jones fatigue, and it was almost solely due to his agents in the early part of this year. No, we're never going to forget/forgive the fact that you chose to watch week 1 from a suite. If
no
we had
Chiefs
lost,
gear.
Correct. If there was any other game that the Chiefs ended up losing, how differently the season played out. Who knows if that extra win would have made the case or that loss ends up costing us. So, and then all of it to make up for just money, here, get all these incentives. Obviously I want him to get paid. The only silver lining is that he showed a little bit of frustration with his agents after the regular season was over, because he was playing a regular season game when all the other defensive starters got to sit for an entire game, all because Chris Jones needed his sack to get his money. And now he can get said money if he wins Super Bowl as well. But none of that, or that contract exactly, equals what he could have been making this year, and then he's got 2 more years on it, and he's guaranteed $80 million. I mean, if I'm Chris Jones, if the Chiefs offered me the exact same contract they offered me last season that I turned down, Dale, if he doesn't win MVP in the Super Bowl, I think he needs to take that, and all of us are happy
that's
about
true.
it.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Only reason I'm going for this defense MVP because I'm gonna reach out and I'm gonna try to be his agent, and we're gonna go ahead and go for 35. We're going for 35, 36. Kansas City. We're going for 35, 36. We're gonna go ahead and tag Snead, and then we'll figure out that later. But I gotta get my back in too, so I can be able to, look, and I need this 3,000 something, so I can go ahead and pay for this year of StreamYard for us going forward after this. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Get
right.
that taken care of. Go ahead, like Alex was talking about earlier. Got to probably go ahead and buy the blue check mark for us because we need to go ahead and finesse these box for engagement and everything. Now I'm just playing, but but we just need that. You know what I'm saying? We just need it. I think
call
we just need
Pirate Hill's agent and see how well that worked out for him when he played hardball with the Chiefs.
No, but if that was me,
I'd be play for the Dolphins next year.
Look, this was if that's me. Hey, Chris, we need to go ahead. If they give you 30, just take it. All right, you got the 30 if you did it. Just go ahead, get this defense MVP. I think they might go ahead and do it. Clinton talked about it already earlier as well too. The guy who handles the works for the money he's going to be the general manager over there. Where at again? Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Maybe he finds someone else who probably can finesse some things for us. Maybe be like, here we can do it like this. It's gonna be a lot, but if we were to do that, I think they wanted to really try to save some so they can be able to do something offensively. If the wide receivers do anything utterly close to being perfect in that game, we're going to have another mad offseason, y'all, because we're not getting nobody great as a wide receiver. If he does it again, you might be able to play with a Gabe Davis. Might be able to flirt with that. Might be able to flirt with a Calvin Ridley. I don't know. He's cheap.
And I don't want it to go the way that you just said it, but I think it's gonna go the way you said. Tag Snead, and then we'll just be in another situation. We just hoping that Snead is not gonna be a diva and he'll be a good person and not want to hold out and get his money too. like he's supposed to. So, man, I hope we don't do that. But that's probably what happens.
I see it the reverse though. I see Snead just getting a contract outright, and Chris, we're tagging him, and
he's gonna get traded then, Clinton. If we
you got
we trade him.
But that's the point, though. You're not gonna let almost defensive player of the year candidate walk out of your building for nothing except a compensatory third round pick that then you will lose the second that you sign somebody not even remotely close to Chris Jones' caliber, but big enough wise contractually for the compensatory formula to even out. So
we flirting with a little too much, Alex. This is my last one because I know we gotta go. We gotta get to the kids and everything like that, man. Hey, look. So this is a great conversation, though. But you just talked about that, Clinton. All right. Do you feel the defensive line, the way they play, the way they can get after the quarterback, is the reason why your secondary can play at that type of level? I will make an argument for Snead though. He don't care. He's in your face. He's jamming you, and he did it to the best wide receivers in the league. He hurt one too. He hurt one. Had him out for a couple weeks, and he didn't even do nothing dirty.
Yeah.
So what you feel? I mean,
it definitely plays a role. I mean, it for sure plays a role. It has to. Your quarterback, especially with it being Brock Purdy and not Aaron Rodgers or anyone else there, that's just going to take that sack and look it in the face or roll out of it. It's for sure plays a role. But at the same time, you nailed it too. I mean, with how physical our defense is, with how physical our secondary is, they do not give a shit if they're getting. They don't care if the quarterback's standing in the pocket the whole time. They're on whoever they're guarding, and they've proven that so far all this year. They haven't. I forget the exact number, but it's some crazy low amount of big plays that have happened against the Chiefs secondary.
Right.
I was just looking at that stat earlier today. It's insane. So I think, we've seen times that the defense hasn't been able to get to the quarterback, and the secondary remains the same. So it for sure plays a factor. That's when we're going to see those pick sixes, those crazy defensive plays. is because the defense can get to the quarterback and make him throw just when he doesn't want to, make him throw off his back foot, whatever it is. But as far as the deciding factor, no, our defensive line is great, but our cornerbacks are great just because they're great. They don't need help.
Perfect marriage, man. Perfect marriage.
I think I'm saying, especially because of the way Bill Belichick started to grow his defenses in recent years. In fact, the last Super Bowl they won was basically defensive back was their strongest position. So the Chiefs like having pressure, and they've been growing in sacks recent years. But I think arguably, if you have a weak secondary, unless your defensive line can get there in literally less than 2 seconds, there's only so much they can physically do. And the Chiefs are going to go up against a team who, if they're going to throw the ball, they're going to try to do it quick and on time. So I think if you're going to have a better version of the two, I think in today's age, you need a good secondary, because against a quarterback like Mahomes, who knows how many seconds you're going to be in coverage for and have to stay on and block that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I'm looking at something real quick. Okay.
And like he said, I like that secondary too. I just want to share that same thought. Spags is secondary guy through and through, so I feel like if he has a guy that he loves and Swiss Army knife like L'Jarius Sneed, you gotta give him his guy. I love Chris Jones to death, but maybe Tillis makes us a deal.
Chris Jones, his only option to stay, I feel like, is if he takes the most team friendly. Like he's got to lay in his bed that he made at the beginning of the year. We can blame the bad, agents, which that's a thing. But man, if you can't tout how much you love Kansas City and then let your agents turn around and do that to you, you know what I mean? Like there had to have been that and maybe that conversation seems like it happened, but at the same time, he has to go with a team friendly deal. I think if he's coming back next year, which he might, I could see it happening.
I think the difference with the crap. Yeah, go ahead.
And team friendly might literally be 27, 28, what they almost should have agreed to before, and it won't be 30 and 30 plus. And there's might be one less year on that deal than there would have been. Maybe we only want to see you for 2 more years at a time, Chris. Who knows what you're feeling? You might change your mind. Who knows? So.
Yeah, because it was going to be on the upper echelon of like 28.5. I think that was like where they was getting to. It wasn't going to 30 yet, but it's just you got to like put in a postseason as well too. And it's like you didn't have that many great sacks, but you did have like 15 plus sack seasons. That's the highest that you had. But I mean, when you're looking at Aaron Donald, like he didn't had a 20 plus sack season and won multiple defensive player of the year. So it's like you can't deny that from him, which is why you're getting the deal that you're getting at this point. But I think if it was Drew Rosenhaus instead of like the Kraft brothers, the thing is with Tyreek Hill, he knew he was going to get him that bag. He's the best receiver in the league. Their market is hella high right now. I'm going to get him that $70 million guaranteed plus in this $120 million deal. You're a defensive lineman. At that, you're an interior defensive lineman. That's why you're trying to play on the outside a couple times to prove like you have this worth. He would have told you like, Chris, you might want to go ahead and take this 28.5. Let me do my work with adding incentives on there to probably get you that 30. So what you did right now to just make your money back, I could have probably had that plus, like but you gamble on who you have as your management, who's getting this all together. So you saw his disappointment. You saw frustration. The frustration was real because his remarks was snarky. Like at the end of the season, he was like, "Yeah, I had to earn it back." That was him being like somewhat of a team player. Like I'm dumb. Like these dudes really screwed me a little bit, and it's okay. They're trying to find their way. They had to get you to where you can get. That way he can bring in more people. That's it. So.
All right. Well, we've been going long, and I'm sure people want to get out of here. But so before we go, Alex, any final thoughts you want to leave everybody heading into Super Bowl Sunday?
Oh, whatever superstitions you believe in, do them. I don't care if you like whatever lucky jersey you got to wear it, because I am superstitious and I feel like This is going to be a weird close to the last thing the Super Bowl against the Chiefs 49ers kind of opened up. But, I'm going to hold to it. 42-17 final score. Maybe 42-0 if we're being overly optimistic. That would be crazy, but I don't know that I'd enjoy that as much as at least a little life out of the Niners.
Man,
But yeah,
talk about a Super Bowl where Blaine Gabbert gets snaps. It is against the 49ers, by the way. Former 49er, Blaine Gabbert.
Well, he beat us. He was with the Bucs when they beat us too. Yeah, him, Mike Edwards. Oh, that'd be awesome. Yep. If the second string gets to go in during a Super Bowl, has that ever happened?
Probably against us.
No, the Seahawks and the Broncos.
Oh,
remember that blowout?
Yeah. That was a blowout score. We'll take that. Seattle defense, we're on par that year.
And that was 45-3.
Yeah,
that's a point over though. Leave it at 42.
Come on, Chiefs. Come on.
Change it a little bit.
Well, they can get a safety, I think. That wouldn't cut. That'd be fine, right? It could be 42-2.
Hey, shout out Derek Thomas in the Super Bowl. Get a safety, man. Hey, you want to know?
Actually, it would be us getting the safety on us for that to happen. So.
No, it'd be the Chiefs getting a safety on a 49er quarterback.
Oh, no, I mean, if it's 42-2, then we got to get that sacrificial safety in there.
To
at least let them get 2 points up on the board.
It's the point where they held us to a punt because we literally ran the ball 3 times and they decided to stop it in the end of the game. And we're just running around with Tommy Townsend in the end zone, just trying to kill as much clock as possible.
That'll be the snap Gabbert gets, is kneeling it down in the end zone to take the sacrifice safety.
There we go.
Punting it away to them to run out the clock. There's my bold take.
Don't ask us where we got the script for the Super Bowl. We're not going to tell you that answer.
And the payout for that is very good too, especially if that's the first score of the game.
A Blaine Gabbert safety?
Safety in general. A safety? 20
like a Blaine Gabbert safety, the first play of the game. I don't know if Reed's going to come out that cocky.
My goodness.
That'd be awesome, though.
Just like, like one of those long plays that went all the way back, probably a bad snap, go all the way back. They on the goal line. Pat, he run out of bounds on accident. I take it. Cool. Give me that money.
That would be Seahawks Broncos all over again. An over-the-head snap for the first 2 points of the game. That happened in that Super Bowl. There we go. Brock Purdy's going to have a ball fly over his head. He's going to start the game down 2-0, and we'll never see a lead.
Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking.
It's going to happen.
And if there were any 49er fans in the chat, they'd be saying how wrong we are. But we'll stay here where the grass is red, so to speak. So, fellas, it was a nice conversation, nice Friday night. Good way to end the week. And no, we got a long buildup of Saturday and a long day of Sunday to wait until Sunday night hits when the Kansas City Chiefs finally take the field and compete in Super Bowl 58. And we can't wait to see there, and we will be there with you the entire day in some fashion. So if you guys are interested, stop back on here on the Red Kingdom Media Network and hang out with us. We've got plenty of stuff coming at you for Super Bowl, let alone the fact that the Chiefs are playing in the Super Bowl and we got us a game to scream at. So thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a good weekend. God bless you all. And as always, go Chiefs. Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion. So please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom